seconds, the world will shift. Hold your breath, the veil will lift. Boom goes the drum, the colors collide, spirals of sound, nowhere to hide. Trippy and wild, the rhythm takes flight. Curious steps into kaleidoscope light.
Animal Farm was the first product of this approach, but before it was even published, you were considering 1984, were you not?
I thought of it in 1944.
In 1984, true love between individuals is impossible, only hate is allowed, the only permissible love for power. This bleak future you seem to be forecasting for Britain. Could totalitarianism really happen in a democracy like ours?
I do not think that the kind of society I describe will arrive, but that something resembling it could arrive, and that totalitarianism, if not fought against, could triumph anywhere. Animal Farm was the first book in which I tried, with full consciousness of what I was doing, to fuse political purpose and artistic purpose into one whole.
Some say politics has no place in art.
The opinion that art should have nothing to do with politics is itself a political attitude. What I most wanted was to turn political writing into an art. All writers are vain, selfish, and lazy. And at the bottom of their motives there lies a mystery.
And so you have no control over what you write.
Writing a book is a horrible, exhausting struggle. Like a long bout with some painful illness. One would never undertake such a thing if one were not driven by some demon one can neither resist nor fully comprehend.
1984, with its thought police, Room 101 and Big Brother, has given us a language with which we can defy oppression. What demon drove you to dream up 1984?
I do not think one can assess a writer's motives without knowing something of his early development. His subject matter will be determined by the age in which he lives, but before he ever begins to write, he will have acquired an emotional attitude from which he will never completely escape.
George Orwell's real name was Eric Blair.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives. We have created, for the first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of being contradictory thoughts. Our unification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
This may be going over a lot of your heads, but this is extremely important for you to understand, because this is the basic premise that game theoricians think on. They attack me and call me evil, which makes people love me more, because I'm seen as a freedom fighter. Clowns and amateurs don't understand that your only weapon against people truly is apathy and outperformance. You need to outperform them and ignore them. Antimatter. And that antimatter will manifest. I have done so many good things for young men in the world. That is why the governments of the world won't stop attacking me. Because I built up antimatter. The more good I did, the more I helped people, the nicer I was, the more I motivated you to not kill yourself, the more I helped you make money, the more I taught people to see the truth, the more I talked about the lies in the Matrix, the more I did good, the evil was being created somewhere else. This is also a very important thought experiment. Before we apply this macro to society, this is another very important thought experiment. You need to use this framework in yourself. You can say love and evil, or you can say love and hate, like and dislike, it doesn't matter. If you catch yourself disliking somebody, you have to work out why. Why do I dislike that man? Is it because I love the inverse of him? What do I truly love, and should I love that thing? If a fat person makes fun of a man in shape, he's jealous, effectively. But why does he dislike the man who's in shape? Because he understands that he loves food more than he loves his own health. And the evil result of him loving food is him being out of shape. So he dislikes anybody who is opposing to his worldview and his choices. That's why the weak hate the strong. All the men who hate me are weak, and all the men who like me are strong. That is not a coincidence. And the stronger I am, and the more I convince you to become strong, and the more strong people I create, the more the weak people will hate me. You can't commit or do any action without creating the opposite force. That's the first thing. Second thing I want you to understand.
Follow your heart. Your heart doesn't care about money, neither does it need money. And if your heart says, walk the world, then walk the world. If your heart says, go down to Miami and be a beach bum, then be a beach bum. If your heart says, become a professional surfer, buy a fucking surfboard. What else does it take, people?
Well, what if your heart says you want to go into space and you want to take it on like Elon Musk's SpaceX program?
I think that any heart wants to do that. I think your mind wants to do that. I think your mind says, oh, that would be wonderful. But why don't you sit quietly with your heart and see what it wants? Your heart wants to love. It wants joy. It wants to express. Most hearts would go, I don't know. I mean, it sounds kind of cramped up there, and only 4 or 5 people, and how long will it be up there? And I think your heart wouldn't want that. I think your mind wants those things. Here's the problem, people. You don't know whether you're listening to your thoughts, your intellect, your rational self, or whether you're listening to your heart. You understand? There's a huge difference. I don't think any heart wants to go to space. Most hearts want to love and to feel, touch, experience, whether it hurts or not, the life around you. It's not a meditative state. It doesn't have to be. It's just a state of stop your thinking for a while and just follow your heart. Now, and don't be afraid, because your heart might go, you know what, I don't even like school. This hasn't been enjoyable for me. Well, then walk the fuck away. Do you think a degree is going to change your life? It won't. It will not. What changes your life is courage. Pure and simple, people.
So your advice for college students is just to follow your heart despite the consequences?
Yeah, because you're not going to know what the consequences are. Here's the thing. The mind anticipates consequences. The heart doesn't. When you fall in love, if you've ever done that, or if you're 20-something, of course you have, or you thought you did, some of you, did you think of consequences at the moment that you felt that surge of beauty and awe inside you? Fuck no. You just followed it. It's the mind that looks at consequences. Well, fuck me. You don't have a crystal ball inside your head, people. You may think you do, but you don't. And the best laid plans, as Shakespeare said, of mice and men oft go astray, people. Not just oft, all the time. You cannot predict your future. And you will learn that very quickly by predicting it and going, God damn, I never thought that would happen.
Yeah, I'm appealing to sort of common sense and fairness. I want to emphasize just common sense and fairness, which is that we should make our decisions based on merit, on how, if somebody is talented and hardworking, then that should be the only means of advancement, there should not be discrimination on the basis of sex or religion or any race or anything else. And what a lot of the woke stuff is, it's actually super racist, it's super sexist, and it's often it's anti-religion, but only anti-Christian. Like, why only anti-Christian? That's unfair. So this is why, again, my message is to the reasonable middle. Do you not want a world where there is fairness and common sense, and you advance as a function of how hard you work and your talent and your integrity? That should be all that matters. And the woke mind virus, that I call it, is against all of that. It's wrong. They try to hide these horrific crimes. And then you see how much violence there's on the left, with our friend Charlie Kirk getting murdered in cold blood. I mean, let that sink in for a minute. That's who we're dealing with here. That is who we're dealing with.
Elon, to so many of the British public who are scared to exercise their free speech, they're worried about being imprisoned, they're worried about being attacked, even to share their speech on your platform of X. What message would you give to them?
And the message is really, my message is to the reasonable center. The common sense. So my appeal is to British common sense, which is to look carefully around you and say, if this continues, what world will you be living in? This is a message to the reasonable center, the people who ordinarily wouldn't get involved in politics, who just want to live their lives. They don't want. They're quiet. They just go about their business. My message is to them: if this continues, you will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Well, it was very easy. I was tired, and I think a lot of people are tired of watching other countries ripping off the United States. This is a great country. They laugh at us. Behind our backs, they laugh at us because of our own stupidity and the leaders. I mean, what we have a Persian Gulf situation. You saw what happened today. Billions and billions of dollars are being spent on getting oil for Japan, and they're not paying anything for it. Essentially, they're paying nothing for it. We have tankers going back and forth that our men are protecting, losing their lives. I mean, they're losing their lives, Larry. We're spending billions and billions on protection, and those tankers are going over to Japan. It's just preposterous. I watched the Kuwaiti oil minister the other day laughing as he was explaining how much money they intend to make with the Bridgeton, which has been a total disaster, the Bridgeton. And I said to myself, isn't that a shame? He's talking about how much money they're going to make, and here we are. He's smiling and laughing. Why don't we get some of it? Why is it that we're protecting? We have frogmen, we have helicopters, we have aircraft carriers, and all sorts of ships all over the Persian Gulf, so that this man and his little group can make a lot of money. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, one of the reasons we say we're doing it is because we've been doing it, and that all previous presidents have endorsed doing it. I guess the kind of thinking of an entrepreneur is because somebody else said it was right doesn't make it right, right?
Larry, the country is losing $200 billion a year. $200 billion. This country cannot continue to lose $200 billion. Japan is one of the wealthiest machines ever created. Saudi Arabia, and it's not, hey, let me tell you, I'm a big beneficiary of Japan. They buy my apartments in spades, they're fine people, but they're laughing to themselves as to what's happening over here. We're not kidding ourselves. They're laughing to themselves, Larry, as to what's happening with this country.
But Donald...
The American Heart Association came to testify against us because they didn't want Coke and Twinkies and soft drinks and ultra-processed foods removed from school lunches, SNAP programs.
Well, listen, thank God they're around to set everybody on the right path. Thank God the American Heart Association is there to stand up for Twinkies and Coca-Cola, which, by the way, I enjoy. I mean, if I could just have a day where I didn't think about my health at all, I would love a nice glass of Coca-Cola with a few Twinkies.
Yeah.
They're fucking delicious.
I stopped eating quote-unquote junk food a long time ago, and I've totally lost interest. In parallel to that, I enjoy strawberries and vegetables and meat and fish and eggs and rice and oatmeal so much more with each successive year. And I think it's in part because of this reshaping of what one considers flavorful. But I also feel like my experience of food is getting richer and richer as opposed to worse and worse. It's kind of interesting and kind of counterintuitive. Do we have any evidence that if you eat foods closer to their, let's just say in their unadulterated form, that you get more out of the taste experience than if you are combining lots and lots of flavors, which is essentially what processed foods are?
Yeah, I can't point to chapter and verse in the literature on this, but I think it just makes common sense that if you're going to start with strawberries and then add a bunch of other things, vanilla extract and sugars and who knows what else, in order to essentially, as processed foods try to do, just kind of wow your mouth with an overwhelming sensation that you then want to repeat, rather than slowing down and enjoying the nuances. The natural world gives us these amazing ingredients like strawberries and blueberries and oats and so on. And then to take those amazing ingredients, which you can kind of savor for a minute at a time and really enjoy, to take those ingredients and make them ingredients rather than things in themselves, and combine them with lots of other things for the purpose of stimulation rather than the purpose of appreciating and enjoying those individual components, then you're kind of giving up, I would say, most of the pleasure of eating. You're just fueling yourself with stuff that is going to give you an immediate hit of flavor and then be gone. And what was in that food is opaque. It may have been strawberries once upon a time, but it's now been masked by all these other things. And meanwhile, one of the miracles of living on this planet is strawberries and the just vast range of materials that plants have gone to the trouble of preparing for the sake of pleasing us. And so to hand that responsibility or that activity over to manufacturers who are just looking to make things as cheaply and quickly as possible, I think is a mistake.
Do you drink coffee?
I do.
How do you prepare your coffee?